Happy Friday, everybody. It is time for Back to the Basics. And I'm so excited because we are starting a brand new budgeting adventure with Brianna. She is the one that won the budgeting scholarship. So excited about that. I'm also going to talk about a few budget basic things, but let's go ahead and jump right into this.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain.
If you want to know a little bit more about Brianna and her story, you need to make sure you go watch last week's video. I tell a little bit about her story. Brianna is a mother, she is a wife, she is a nurse that feels like she's drowning because of debt. Does that sound familiar to anybody? That's where I was 5 years ago. You guys, I was drowning. I had almost $50,000 in credit card debt, and I don't know how I got myself there. Oh, wait, I know. Bad financial decisions. We didn't have like a major medical. We didn't have anything like that for me that would say, okay, this is why you did this. So today we're going to talk about Brianna's plan. Anytime that I set a budget for somebody, I give them a plan or my recommendations. But first of all, you guys, I want to show you the first page of this month's budget kit. So it's right here. Just a pretty pattern, right? Gives you something. This is my printable kit that's available on my Etsy as well as snowgardener307.com. Why I want to show you this is this month's quote I think is very important. And a lot of us don't do this or weren't taught to do this. This quote is by Warren Buffett, and I've got it right here, so I'm going to read it. It says, "Do not save what is left after spending. Instead, spend what is left after saving." That is a budgeting basic that most of us miss. This is that concept of paying yourself first. And when you pay yourself, we're not talking about giving yourself spending money. We're talking about saving for an emergency fund. We're talking about retirement. We're talking about setting yourself up for the future. So for Brianna, her plan, first of all, the first thing that her and her husband and her kids need to figure out is how to get the income versus expenses corrected to where there is enough income to pay all of the expenses. When you are upside down, it literally feels like you're drowning because you can barely make ends meet, and sometimes you don't. With Brianna, she's picking up side hustles, she's picking up overtime, she's doing all of these things, and she reminds me of myself because she's like, it's easier if I just take on the extra work. I make more money, so it's just better if I work the overtime. But what Brianna is doing is she is working too hard. She gets burnt out and she misses her children and her husband. And I have no doubt she starts to resent life a little bit because she's working so hard. So once they get those corrected, then this journey will be so much easier. But sometimes that's hard because the only way that you can correct that is make more money or spend less money. That's it. There is no get rich quick scheme. There is no easy button to push to get out of this. It's going to take some hard work, and Brianna knows that, and she is ready for this adventure. And I keep calling it an adventure, you guys. I believe budgeting is an adventure. It has good parts, it has bad parts. We have detours, we go all over the place. Sometimes we're on a boat and it's choppy as all get out. Sometimes it's beautiful and everything looks amazing. So an adventure. The next thing with Brianna is she has got an emergency fund, which is amazing. And I talked to Brianna and I'm like, what part of your emergency fund are you comfortable with using to help you start this debt snowball? So we discussed this, and Brianna decided to take her emergency fund down to $3,000. Now, that's an amazing place to start. If you're a Dave Ramsey follower, then you would probably want to take it down to 1,000. But this is Brianna's journey, and this is what she is happy with is 3,000. And that's what's most important. So that gives her 2,700 or something to start this. And you guys are going to be so impressed with what she's able to do with that. And I think it's going to make things so much easier. And so we're going to go ahead and get some of those debts paid off right away. Debt snowball, smallest to largest. So that's how we're going to pick what debts to pay off. And then she's going to continue her debt snowball. Now, emergency fund is going to sit at $3,000. She did let me know that for retirement, her and her husband are putting in for retirement, but they did lower it. So they're at the lower end. And that's one of the things that you have to decide for yourself as well. Again, Dave Ramsey recommends that you stop all investing in retirement while you're going through this journey. I personally did not. That's why I always say I date the Dave Ramsey plan. I'm not married to it, right? I love some of the concepts, but I don't follow exactly everything. You need to figure out a plan that works for you, and that's all that matters. So we have got her budget all laid out, and I'm going to put it up on the screen for you. The first thing that I want to put up for you guys, I'm going to put it right here. This is a simple budget plan. This is before we utilized any of her emergency fund or she made any cancellations. So what I want you guys to notice is this sheet is pretty dang full. I've got it right here in front of me. When you look on the right side, that is all credit cards and buy now, pay later. So you look at all of that and you go through and you're like, that's a lot. And when you add up all of that, if you look down at the bottom of the page, that right there is $1,781.48 a month. That's a lot going out for credit cards and buy now, pay laters. Imagine where Brianna's budget would be if she wasn't there. That's what we want to do. We want to envision that. Now, of course, she's there, so there's nothing she can do but get her way out. So now let's talk about exactly what she has done. So Brianna, the first thing that she did, I did talk to her about, is there any way that you can cancel some things? Because as you look at the bills, which is on the left side, you'll see that we do have some stuff. We've got like an Inc. membership. We've got YouTube. We have got, let's see, Apple Music, Kindle, Life 360. We've got Roku, Discover Plus. And I recommended, well, most of those are not very much. They are still taking money away from your budget or making you have to work overtime. So Brianna did agree, or didn't agree. She decided to go ahead and cancel Roku and Discovery Plus right now. And so while that's not a lot, that's $10.99 a month. That's $10.99 less than she has to come up with. They can always get that again. And Brianna did let me know. I keep saying Brianna. I'm sorry, you guys. I keep going back and forth. And Brianna, whichever way it is. And I'm sure she'll tell me. I'm sorry that I keep saying it different. But it's going to make it that much easier. So now let's talk about our debt snowball plan. So I have got everything printed off here along with the paycheck to paycheck budget, which we are going to talk about. But I want to show you guys. So I've got this awesome debt snowball tracker that comes in my budget kit, and it has for every month, and you put the credit cards up at the top. And so let's see, we've got 6 credit cards or buy now, pay later on every page. So we've got 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 31. And with her cars, her student loans, and her mortgage, she has 35 debts. That's right, everybody. 35 debts. So this could be why she feels like she is drowning, because there's a lot of money going out. And of course, we've talked about these buy now, pay laters. I do have a video on that. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, make sure you go check that out. So let's talk about what we are paying off. So the first thing that she is going to pay off, I've got my little highlighter here. I'm going to mark these as we go through. She has got a firm number 4. Check. Paid off. She's got an Ulta credit card. Check. Paid off. She's got a Capital One Quicksilver. Check. Paid off. So a firm number 4 was $50. Ulta credit card, $109. Capital One Quicksilver, $221.91. Then we've got a firm number 7, $140.87. These are not big debts, you guys, but they do have minimum payments that are coming out every single month, and they are adding up. So for example, a firm number 4 has a $50 payment. Ulta credit card has a, I gotta find it, $30 payment. So you add those up and they add up a lot. Then we've got Indigo credit cards. Check. Paid off. That's $183.68. We have a firm number 5. Check. Paid off. That is $275.61. So first page, done. She's paid all of those off. Then we've got Lowe's credit card. Check. Paid off. That's $290.24. We've got her milestone credit card, which is $184.02. We're going to pay that off. And you guys, the reason why it's in the wrong order is because she made a big payment on that one, which is good. So $184.02 is what she had left. Then we've got Affirm number 6 at $382.47. We're going to check, pay that off. We've got Home Depot, that's $383. We're going to check, pay that off. Editing Marlene here, and yes, I'm in my kitchen because this is where I'm editing this video. I do want to let you guys know that Brianna will not be in a true debt snowball until her income to debt ratio equals out, or her income to expenses. We cannot pay an extra $400 and some to one of the debts by paying all of these off because they don't have the money to do it. So I just wanted to clarify, we're not actually doing a snowball because we're not picking all of these payments up and adding it to another one. All right, let's get back to the video. I had to double check my notes. Okay, now we've got Sunbit, $419.82. Check, pay that off. And then we have Care Credit number 1, which is $450. She has $259.38 to pay towards that card. So we are working on that card. What that means, you guys, is we've got 6 debts right here paid off. We also have another 5 debts right here paid off. 11 debts off of her plate because she chose to use part of her emergency fund. And that is what is so amazing about their adventure. So I've got a note right here that when she has paid all of these off, then that equals $459.43 in monthly payments. That's right, you guys. And none of these had huge balances or anything. So we're going to be working on Care Credit number 1 when we do the debt snowball. Now, of course, we still have several pages of debts. We've got Affirm number 3, that's $512.50. Affirm number 2, that's $536.51. Credit 1 number 2, $537.90. First Premier, $557.86. Destiny, $607.33. Credit 1 number 1, $610.12. Again, these are not massive balances, but those minimum payments add up so much. Then we've got Care Credit number 2, $723.63. Surge Credit Card, $811.39. K Jewelers, $998.78. Fit Credit Card, $1,025.06. PayPal MasterCard, $1,069.26. Affirm number 1, $1,186.58. Ashley Furniture, $1,435.99. Best Buy Credit Card, $1,727.49. PayPal Credit Card, $2,096.11. BJ Credit Card, $2,340.78. They've got a personal loan for $2,590. Capital One, $3,917.50. They've got another personal loan that has a balance of $8,070. Then we've got 2 vehicles. One vehicle has a balance of $14,055. The second vehicle has a balance of $17,799. Their student loans are $182,761.10. Whew, makes my heart flutter a little bit. Their mortgage is $219,064.85. So Brianna and her family are almost $500,000 in debt. That's a big number, but that's life. That's where we're at, right? Like I said, there's no get out of jail free card for this one. So let's go ahead and talk about the paycheck to paycheck budget. Let me scooch over. We're going to put her paper right up here. I've got it printed for myself. This is for today. Today's payday is the first payday in November because she just got paid on Halloween. Every 2 weeks, her husband and her get paid. So paychecks right here, what we're budgeting for is $3,685. No child support. If you didn't watch that video last week, unfortunately right now she is not getting child support. The kids are paying $459. This is her young adult children that are paying for car insurance as well as cell phones. And then she did go ahead and budget some overtime. This is overtime that she had already worked because for the first budget, we didn't have enough money to make it work. And so this is one of the ways that we made it work. So that means for income, they are working with $4,364. So as we scroll down into her bills, you'll see that we've got quite a few bills here. You'll also see that I've got a little asterisk next to some of them. What that means is she already has part of those paid from saving the money from previous paydays. So for Verizon, she owes $137.50, but part of that's already been paid. Above that was the personal loan for $217. Then we've got that ink subscription for $6, personal loan for $86, YouTube membership for $17, car $292, water $110, mortgage $1,635. So that means bills add up to $2,500.50, and that leaves $1,863.50. So then we go up. You guys can see I put the arrow up here because we have got the debt, right? And so here we've got Affirm number 1, Affirm number 2, Destiny credit card, K Jewelers, BJ credit card, Surge credit card, Credit One number 2, Ashley Furniture, Affirm number 3, and Fit credit card. The minimum payments for all of this adds up to $740.09. Now imagine if she hadn't have gotten rid of $400 and some in minimum payments. So that means that she is left with $1,123.41. And we've got another arrow going back down to envelopes digital. This is the spending. And so they've got $1,123.41 left over. For 2 weeks, she is going to utilize $500 for groceries, $150 for gas, $100 for home, $100 for miscellaneous, $100 for pets, $150 kind of for their catch-all. This has the kids' names on it, has out, has fun, but this also has to do with kids' sports, stuff like that, supporting the children when they go to the sporting events. It takes money to get in. And so they have got $1,100 that they're allocating for that. We've got $23.41 left over, and you can see I've got the arrow going back over. This is to the extra debt. You see the extra debt and the debt snowball right here. We're not putting anything to this right now. But care credit number 1 is what we're working on. The balance of it after making that extra payment is $190.62. And then as we scroll down, we'll see that I just left that $23.41 in the rollover. Now I told Brianna if she wants, she can, pay that towards the debt snowball. It is really up to her. So that is what's going to happen the next 2 weeks. Next week, we are going to check in with Brianna and we're going to see how the week has went so far. Obviously, it won't be completely done because it is a 2-week pay period, but it will be nice to kind of see how she's feeling, how things are going, and she's going to give us an update. Also next week, you guys are going to see me talk about my expenditures for the last week. Sorry today, you guys, I couldn't do it today, but next week that will be back. I will stuff my wallet. I will unstuff my wallet first. I will tell you guys what money I spent, and it should be a fun one. So make sure you tune in for that. Now, let's talk really quickly about some budgeting basics. You guys may have heard this a million times already, but in my life, I know that sometimes I have to hear things over and over and over before I actually do them. So I've got 7 steps that I found online. I did not create this myself, right? But this is 7 things that can help you set your budget and achieve your goals. So the first thing is you have to track your spending. This is why on Fridays, I'm sharing with you guys my own spending because I have to track it. When I don't track it, I get off base big time. I overspend. I think if I don't track it, I'm like, oh, I didn't do that bad this week. And then I add it all up and I'm shocked. So the next thing is you have to set clear financial goals. They need to be SMART goals. Just in case you guys aren't familiar with SMART goals, that means they are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and they have to have a time sensitivity, right? I think one of the things that is most important about that is achievable. Don't set yourself up for failure. You need to set a realistic goal. Then you need to create a budget. I recommend a zero-based budget. That's what I use. I think every dollar having a job really helps. And you need to prioritize in the world today. And this is not judgment on anyone. First of all, you guys, I have been so bad with my money and so poor that when my daughter was born 23 years ago, I remember her being an infant in a car seat. I needed gas money and I had no money in my checking account. And I was digging through the ashtray for change. Now, of course, thank goodness gas was quite a bit cheaper 23 years ago. So I've been there. I've done that. So this is not throwing shade on anybody. But with the government shutdown and with people's SNAP benefits and everything and the government workers that aren't getting paid, all of that that's recently happened, it's really opened our eyes to people prioritizing. And like I said, not judging anybody. I don't know your story. I don't judge you if you are at the store and you are using SNAP benefits or anything like that. But if you don't have any food in your house and you've got a brand new set of nails on, or you've got really nice clothes, and who knows, maybe you got those done before. I don't know, right? But just make sure you're prioritizing the right things. If you've got a little bit of extra money, why don't you get a little bit of extra food to fill your pantry with? And that's one thing that I focus on my other channel about, is those priorities. It might not be a good idea to go on vacation if you don't know how to feed yourself or your family. That's the type of stuff that I'm saying. And no judgment, because I've went on vacation when I shouldn't have went on vacation. That's part of what that $50,000 in debt was vacations. So I've been there. I'll judge myself all I want and say, man, I made some stupid financial decisions, but I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to judge anybody else. And because on the outside, it's too easy to judge people because we don't know the true story. But it breaks my heart to see the people that in the past month have struggled feeding their families. And, you know, they might have a brand new iPhone. Maybe it was a gift. I don't know, right? But just make sure you're prioritizing the right things. So that's step 4. Number 5 is use budgeting tools. That can be an app. It can be any app, right? I'm not here to shove anything down your throat. It can be a notebook, a piece of paper. It can be a budgeting kit like what I offer, what I use. I am very much a pen and paper gal. Some people like to do spreadsheets. Some people like to just write things down. Some people have got the apps from Dave Ramsey, from Caleb Hammer. There's all kinds of apps that you can use. And of course, with your budget, you need to review and adjust it accordingly. And you need to review it often. You can't just set your budget at the beginning of the month and not look at it all month long. You need to make sure that what you've got budgeted is going to work. If things come up, you've got to adjust. And then the last thing is you have to make budgeting a habit. For me, obviously, budgeting is a habit. Budgeting is always on my brain. I try not to stress myself out about it, but I check my bank accounts pretty much every day. That's right, everybody. I check my bank accounts every day. Most of the time, it's just to make sure I haven't forgotten something or there's not fraud, because heaven knows fraud in our day and age is just ridiculous. So 7 easy steps for trying to correct the mistakes that you're making in your own budgeting life. And like I said, I've got all kinds of them. All kinds of them. I do encourage you guys to go check out my most current, my most current grocery haul. I'm like, is it my most current one? It's the one where I take Peyton and Yasmin shopping. And go check it out because, of course, Peyton did get laid off. He does have an emergency fund. He did get another job. Not where he wanted to, but a job is a job. Money coming in is money coming in. But go take a look and see some of the conversations that we have about food. And I look forward to spending some more time with Peyton specifically because he is a 20-year-old man who has never really did a meal plan or grocery shopped for himself until the past couple months. All right, you guys, that's it for me today. Thanks for joining me. And until I see you guys next time, remember to keep on smiling. Bye, everybody.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. and ain't no one in life holding me back no more. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays. Way back a year ago. Back a year ago.